Welcome to the Mom Minutes a Moment podcast. We're your hosts, Chrissy
and Cindy,
co-founders of Her Health Collective.
We are two moms obsessed with revolutionizing the way moms take care of themselves. We are so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Girls on the Run is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's dedicated to creating a world where every girl knows and activates her limitless potential and is free to boldly pursue her dreams. Various networks of local councils offer Girls on the Run programming at schools and community sites across the United States and Canada. The program is run with the use of volunteer coaches who inspire and guide a team through the research-based curriculum. We had the opportunity to sit down with Aiesha Edwards, who is the executive director of Girls on the Run of the Triangle in North Carolina, who serves Durham, Wake, Orange, Chatham, and Johnston counties. Aiesha brings approximately 15 years of professional experience with over 10 years of nonprofit management experience into her role at Girls on the Run. She has successfully developed and implemented new programs, created sustainable fund development campaigns, and cultivated strategic relationships. But most of all, Aiesha has intense personal and professional dedication to serving children and their families. She strives to impact the lives of the communities she serves. In this episode, we talked to Aiesha about the Girls on the Run program and how she has seen it affect the communities she serves, as well as how it has affected her own life. We also talk about her passion for inclusive spaces to empower girls of all abilities where healthy living is a norm. Here's our talk with Aiesha. Hey, Aiesha. It's just to see your face again. We met, as we were telling Chrissy, we met very randomly at another event. We sat next to each other and we introduced ourselves to each other. And I was just really excited to get to know you more. And so here you are on our podcast. And I can't wait to have this conversation with you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for allowing me to be here and voice my opinion on some things. So I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. So in 2 minutes, we would love for you to share, who are you? Give us, I love this question because it's like, summarize your whole being in 2 minutes.
All righty. So I am what my shirt says. This is my favorite shirt. I am a mother, a daughter, a leader. I am a queen, and I am a woman.
Woohoo! Yes, you are.
That is me in one shirt advertisement.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you have to tell us where you got that shirt. I really like it.
I sure will.
That sounds good. So can you tell us a little bit more in your 2 minutes? Elaborate just a little bit on what you do. If you're a mom, I know you're a mom, so any current struggles you might have.
Yes. So I am a mother of two wonderful, I call them my little peeps, my little broke best friends. And I have an 18-year-old, so I'm going through the senior moment this year. And then I have a 9-year-old. My 18-year-old's a boy, and then I have a 9-year-old that is a girl that thinks she's 18. So I'm going through that. I am a nonprofit advocate. I love working in nonprofit. I'm solely there in nonprofit just because it gives me a way to spread awareness to people that don't want to listen and to people that do want to listen. So I kind of get both sides of the story. I take care of my mother. She's back in Tennessee. So a little flip side of that, everybody always tells you, your parents are the one take care of you, but when you get older, you take care of them. So yeah, that's me. That's why I love this shirt. It just says this is Aiesha.
You are in it.
Yes.
In every single realm you're in it. You're taking care of the adult mom. You've got the 18-year-old kid. You've got the preteen. Oh my gosh.
Yes. And then also they're missing the piece. I am a wife too. So don't forget about the husband. You got to take care of the husband too.
And then
which is its whole own big task.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. So.
And then I'm sure your 9-year-old, like mine, has the head sway where she's like, I am awesome.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you one thing about it is, yes, she does have that mind frame, but especially with technology, I always have to go to her and I'm like, I've got to go to, her name is Justice. And I'm like, Justice, help mom with this. And she's like, certainly. And I'm like, oh my
The
God.
eye roll and everything.
Yeah. And I'm like, just give me my phone. Like I've already knew it, but yeah, that makes her confidence just a little bit higher. But you have to remember, we probably was like that, but the only thing is different is we didn't have phones. I had a little clear phone that had a long extension cord that if you wanted privacy, you had to wrap it around like towards the bathroom, sit on the floor and kind of hover over and talk about nothing.
Yes.
So
yeah, we had landlines. Oh my gosh, what are those?
Yeah.
And we didn't have streaming TV. We had to sit down in front of the TV whenever the show was on.
Yes.
Then there came recorders.
Yes. I remember Saturday morning cartoons are, as you got older, it's TGI Friday. So
yes. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
So. Cindy, as you were giving your example there, I feel like the next time we're together, we're going to work on your head roll a little bit.
Yeah. Just ask your daughter. Ask your daughter. You got it.
Yes, you get some lessons from the girls.
I know I should, because she even gets the finger in there too. She's like,
Yes. My biggest saying to my daughter when she starts doing that, I'll go, listen, we are not friends. I'm mommy and your daughter. And she's like, wait, you're not my friend. I'm like, well, technically I am, but I'm not. But I don't need the head roll, ma'am.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note, we're going to dive into just a random question. It's going to be pulled randomly from this book. So just holler out a number. Any number, we'll say 1 to 10.
3.
3. What is your favorite dessert?
Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know what it's called, but my grandmother used to make. My grandma called it a snowball cake, but then when I try to find it in the store, it's not a snowball cake. It's something else. But anyway, my favorite dessert is when I used to go visit my grandmother. She would take, and I used to watch her because I would lick the bowl after she finished.
Oh, that's the best part.
Of course.
Yes, angel pound cake. She would just rip it in half, put it in a big pan, and then she would put strawberry, it's like red syrupy stuff over it. And then she would cut fresh strawberries the day before, soak them in honey and sugar, put it on top with whipped cream. And oh my goodness, it was the best. I'm not a big dessert person, but yes, it would. That would sell out and be gone in an hour.
I am a big dessert person, and sign me up. Let's have a snowball cake date and make this happen.
Since she's passed away, I've tried to make that. It ain't.
Oh no, the recipe
I
left
don't know
with your grandmother.
I don't know why I was licking the bowl. Maybe she threw something extra in there and I didn't pay attention, but it just doesn't taste the same. I don't know.
It doesn't hit
the same. It's the grandmother's love that sprinkles in there, of course. Yeah.
But we made it a family name. We call it a snowball cake, but we don't know what it's called really.
Oh, grandma's lump of love.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It would be like, she would make about 3 pans, one for, the dessert and then one for everybody in the family to take some home. So.
Oh, she's extra thoughtful.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. All right. I want to ask you a little bit about what you're doing for your work right now outside of the home, because we all know that parenting is work, even though we love them immensely. Yes. You are currently the executive director of Girls on the Run of the Triangle in North Carolina, where you bring approximately 15 years of professional experience. You began your career as a teacher in Tennessee, Kingsport, right? Is that where you, Kingsport? And you were a teacher in the Kingsport, Tennessee City School District. Yes. But even before receiving your degree, you were active in the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Kingsport. You even worked at both places simultaneously. You were what?
Couldn't let it
18?
go. Yes. Yes. Couldn't let it go. I mean, I gave my 2 weeks notice multiple times.
So while it's common to see an individual's background experience bounce around a bit, because we're trying on different hats, we're trying out different things as we grow to find out what we like. Your background has remained fairly consistent. You went from teaching and then you shifted to work in the nonprofit sector, helping families. And that's where you've stayed is in nonprofit. Will you talk to us a bit about your time teaching and what drove your decision to get out of teaching and then into the nonprofit sector?
So we're going to start from the very, very beginning when I was 18 years old.
Perfect.
So when I was 18 years old, I walked into a preschool, and I always knew when I was little that I wanted to be a teacher. I was one of those girls that I would take a marker, and I'm sorry to say this, but I would take a marker from the teacher's desk, the expo marker, bring it home, and my whiteboard was the mirror in the bathroom because they erased it. Yes.
Yes.
So I would teach all day to, I don't know, the toilet, the bath, whoever would listen. Sometimes I would make the dog sit there. So I walked into a preschool and I said, hey, I would like to be a teacher. And they were like, well, do you have any credentials? And I'm like, no, but I'm a fast learner. So when I walked into that preschool, they hired me as assistant. So as I got into that preschool, they started training me, hey, you have to have this credential, you have to have that credential. So I started going back to school. In the midst of all this, I stayed at that place for about 4 years and got on at Kingsport City Schools. So remember, in 4 years, kids are at daycare 6 weeks to 4 years old. Eventually, I became the head teacher at the preschool, turned in my notice, went to Kingsport City School. In the meantime, we all know teachers do not make a lot of money. So I started working at the Boys and Girls Club over this summer. So I got hired on as the unit director. The unit director were in the housing complex in our area. So I was over all 3 units, which were in the housing complex in that area. And basically my job was to recruit and make sure that the kids would stay off the street and come into somewhere that is a safe place. Now, mind you, the reason why I keep referring back to preschool is, remember, those kids grew up, they're in kindergarten now. So they're coming to my Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, wow.
So after that, I got a job at teaching. I was been at high school in Kingsport, Tennessee, with the first pilot program called Non-Traditional School. That school was housed in a little room, I don't know if it was the janitor's closet or whatever, but we converted it into a classroom. And it was a classroom for kids that could not be at school in a traditional way. So either it might have been drug related, or it might have been they are taking care of an elderly parent at home, or we had pregnancy parents, mom and dad, that was in the same classroom because the baby was going to be due soon. So maybe they came to class A and B period and went home to work, or went to work C and D period. But my job was ultimately to make sure that they was not the statistic that society says they would be, and actually walk across the stage to further their career. Wow. So remember preschool.
Yeah.
Now we're in high school. So I had several students that were like, at the time, my last name was Banks. They were like, Miss Banks, are you following us? Because now they're in high school. And I'm like, yes, I am. Are you ready for nap time? Because I remember you was in nap time around this time. So it was like a whole big joke. So after teaching and after getting a sense of, oh man, I was in high school, but I never was around like the non-traditional kids. I didn't know. I thought everybody, I was raised by a single parent, but I just thought, everybody has the same, we go to school 7:30 to 3:30. I cheerlead, I ran track, somebody, or you went to work. So it really opened my eyes on doing bigger and better things. Well, as a teacher, you do not work during the summer. So I finally quit Boys and Girls Club, handed it over to the assistant that I had at that time. And so I got into an organization called Eastern Aid Community Development Corporation, started for the summer, started around that May. And it really opened my eyes on, wow, anybody could be a homeowner. So my job was program manager, director over anything that was educational for the parent, any type of barriers that is going to hinder them from buying an affordable house. Instead of paying rent, they can take that rent and pay towards house. Remember, I worked in preschool. The kids are now graduating. So now I have some of those kids that are going through the home buyer education program, plus some of their families. So once again, I get the question, Miss Banks, are you really trying to follow us through our whole career? And I'm like, yes, I am. Now you have somewhere to sleep. We always refer to nap time. During my stint at Eastern Aid, I got to travel a lot, not only in East Tennessee, I call it the East Tennessee bubble, but I traveled through all 50 states except for 3, teaching and learning about affordable housing to low-income families. So it really opened my eyes that there are better ways and greater ways to push the mission.
This episode is sponsored by Her Circle, the supportive and welcoming community for moms created by Her Health Collective.
Her Circle is a welcoming and supportive community for moms who are passionate about making change for themselves, their families, the community, and the world. Together, this village of women are revolutionizing the way moms take care of themselves.
From an active, private online community and the incredible daily chats hosted there, to our many virtual gatherings, including support groups, Moms Night Out, volunteer opportunities, book club, family adventures, coffee chats, and so much more. We love providing moms the chance to connect and create authentic relationships with one another.
The network of experts in Her Circle are a phenomenal resource and provide great learning experiences for moms on topics ranging from women's health to parenting. We cover the issues that matter to moms the most, from virtual expert Q&As to one-on-one wellness minute consultations and support groups. We are committed to getting moms in front of the information, experts, and support they need most.
To learn more about Her Circle, head to www.herhealthcollective.com/her-circle. We have a limited number of spaces and the doors only open a few times a year. So be sure to add your name to the no obligation waitlist so you are the first to know when the doors officially reopen.
Now, I know a lot of people are like, man, how did you jump from teaching to affordable housing? To me, in my eyes, it was all the same. I was still teaching homebuyer education. I was still teaching these adults how to write resumes. I was still teaching financial management. I just kind of shifted from being preschool, elementary, middle, and high school to adults that is going to be productive. So after I did that stint at affordable housing, I got on a health kick. So once I got on a health kick, after I had justice, this is around after I had justice, I got on a health kick. I looked at my mom, how I was taking her to the doctors and nothing was never changing. And they always prescribed her medicine, or they always prescribed her something that was what's not, you got to eat healthy. And I just knew she always talked about she hurt all the time. And I do not want to be like that at this point blank period. I don't want to be like that. So I looked into an organization. Actually, this organization came to the school system and did a walkathon with us. So one day I looked into this organization and they were hiring. I've never been an executive director before this time. I've always been a director of an organization, but I've never been an executive director. That was a powerful word to me. My mentor, Retha, pushed and said, Aiesha, you really need to do this. Just think of it as one and the same. So that's how I came on with Healthy Kingsport. I'm still teaching, I'm still pushing the mission, and I'm still looking at, we need to make sure that our society's behavior changes where healthy living is the norm. I tell people that all the time. We need to make sure that healthy living is the norm. When I was younger, it was always like, eat your pinto beans with grease coming at the top. Delicious. Eat your greens with grease coming at the top. Delicious. But we were never really taught how to properly eat where it's healthy we was taught what things taste good instead of what was healthy. Even healthy food tastes good once you learn and master it. So how did I get to Girls on the Run? Working in Healthy Kingsport, basically what I did is, instead of working with the children and the families, I worked with the community as a whole. I was over a county, the city of Kingsport and Sullivan County. And my job was to make sure that all 3 aspects knew where healthy living was the norm. We had 3 aspects, which was physical activity, which was the walker tracker, where we collectively walked over 4 million miles collectively as a city. And then nutrition is where we help take sugary beverages out of the schools, which is pre-K through 12, and replace refilling stations, which is the water bottles, and supply all the students with water bottles. And the third was tobacco cessation, where they help businesses write up legislation where they can help their employees stop tobacco smoking or vaping. So most of the campuses in Kingsport was due through Healthy Kingsport by implementing plans in place where we can help the staff stop smoking. And if they did still smoke, kind of make barriers where if they had a 15-minute smoke break, it took them 15 minutes to drive off campus to smoke instead of 15 minutes learning how to not smoke. My husband's originally from Durham. He was like, hey, my business can really take off if we move to Durham. So, as you're going through the job search, the first thing that popped up was Girls on the Run. I remember Girls on the Run because when I worked at Boys and Girls Club, we had a group of girls that, and I'm not going to really say they weren't bad. They were just teenage girls that, they knew the streets. That's the honest truth. They knew the streets. And so when I brought the program in, they were like, Miss Banks, ain't nobody running. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not about running. At the time, I didn't know what it was. I'm just trying to convince them. So the program manager came in and she said, hey, can we start a program at your unit? And I'm like, sure. So, yeah, we want in-kind program that come in here. So to convince the girls, I told them, I said, hey, if y'all would do this program, it's supposed to boost your confidence. It's supposed to help you be joyful. And I'm tired of y'all's attitude coming in here and everybody wants to fight everybody, They were like, Miss Banks, we're not running. And I was, listen, if y'all do this, I know you have a 5K. That's the only thing they thought about is the 5K. I know you have a 5K. I was like, if y'all do this, Miss Banks will run the 5K. Now, at this time, I'm still on my health kick, okay? And I ain't ran a lick besides what I did in high school and middle school, and I'm a sprinter, okay? Third week went around, and I brought all kinds of programs to the Boys and Girls Club, and you got some that show up, and you got some that did. But this particular program, all 15 girls would come on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're like, where is Miss Abby? Where's Miss Abby? And I'm like, go sit in on this program because Miss Abby giving y'all something that we can't give y'all. And I need to know. It was the curriculum. They were learning how to utilize their skills that they've learned from the streets in a positive and productive way. So, of course, they did the program. Of course, I had to run the 5K. And of course, I know I died 4 times during the 5K, but I was fine. When I saw that Girls on the Run was hiring, I put my name in the hat. And the thing is, I looked at what their mission was, and it was still the things that I love to do. I love to be in the community. I'm not only helping girls. I know it's Girls on the Run, and I always tell them they need to change it to Family on the Run, but it's helping the whole family dynamic. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, it could be a mom, dad, kids. It can be mom, and kids. It can be dad, and kids. It can just be mom and kids. It helps the whole family's dynamic to produce productive citizens. And when I say that, not only working with the girls, but it helps the girls push the families and the families push the girls to make a whole unit family dynamic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To answer your question, and that's my whole life. That's really my whole life, my whole resume. And the main thing that I look back at it is I'm always working with families.
I love it. I would love to dive more into Girls on the Run because it's such an incredible program. I actually had the pleasure of coaching for a few seasons and saw firsthand the positive impact it had, not only on its participants and its family, the family members of participants, but also on the coaches and the community that comes out and participates in the 5K. There's whole lots of layers of positivity there.
Yes.
For those that don't know, Girls on the Run is an evidence-based program that is designed to inspire girl empowerment by building confidence, kindness, and decision-making skills. I would love to know if you have, I'm sure you've got a million, but if you have one that stands out to you as a great success story you could share about Girls on the Run and how it positively impacted one of its participants.
This year was my first year actually coaching. And I'm always referring back to my Boys and Girls Club days. Now, since last year was my first year coaching, I've seen it firsthand from turning a group of girls that could have been why in society's eyes, a lost cause, to now wanting to come to the program. That is such a big issue, especially working with underprivileged children. And that is just a big issue of them holding accountable and coming to the program. That's probably one that stuck out most to me, because it even had me going in there like, wait, what is she teaching y'all for y'all to keep coming back? Yeah. The second thing as a parent standpoint is that stood out to me is my first 5K over the program here at Girls on the Run. The race ended, and I don't know if you've ever did a 5K or a big event, but you're like, whoo, home stretch, nothing happened, woo. Well, here comes this parent boo-hoo and crying. And when I say, I call it the huffies, that's what we call it in our house, when you're, you had the huffies.
So I know it well.
Yeah. And I'm pulling her aside and I'm like, ma'am, what is wrong? Well, she finally calmed down and she said, I want to just thank whoever's over the program. And it happened to be me and another young lady, our office coordinator with me. She was like, whoever is over this program, this has really brought just my daughter and myself closer together. She said, I see a lot of parents that once their kid hits a certain age, it's like they close their door, they're in their room. And I saw my daughter leading to that. And she said, I don't know what's in that curriculum, but she comes home every day talking about just everyday life. And she was one of those parents, when they get off the bus or you pick them up, how was your day? Did you have a good day today? Did you eat anything? I'm hungry, even though they just ate. She said she would be like, I don't care. Yeah. She was like, but it's a total turnaround. And so I looked at her and that brought tears to my eyes. And I'm like,
I had some tear prickles in my eyes as you were sharing
like,
that.
Because in my eyes, I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? So do I need to call the EMT? What's going on? But this woman was so joyful that her emotions just came out in that type of way of how the program really not only impacted her daughter, but impacted their relationship, which impacted their family dynamics as a whole. And that's when we say that this is an evidence-based program that is not only for the girl. The girl is just the seed. She takes that to the sunshine and it just grows tremendously, from family to being in society to just being a productive citizen. And we all know that's what this world needs. That is probably the two things that stick out towards me.
Oh, I love it. I personally also saw the ripple among the girls themselves when they're at practice, the kindness and compassion and empathy that they show towards each other. And you know that they're bringing that into the classroom and in all of their other interactions on the playground. And it has huge ripple effect. Absolutely love that. Yes. I would love to know if Girls on the Run has changed how you approach parenting your own children, or perhaps how you approach challenges in your own life.
When I first got the job, my duties as myself is, if I'm going to push this Girls on the Run, I need to know what they're teaching. Of course, the curriculum changes. So I read the curriculum at that time. And I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. Well, when I coached, the curriculum had already changed. So I was teaching myself before I started coaching. And honestly, and my daughters went through the program. And honestly, it has helped me look at a different aspect, because sometimes as parents, I don't know, we're just programmed to, okay, I've been there, done that. And I said that many times to my daughter. She does something, listen, ma'am, I've been there, done that. Don't play with me. That used to be our thing. But now it's like, it's so funny. It's because when we get into, I call them the little tiffs, it's like she does her Girls on the Run breathing, I do my Girls on the Run breathing, and then we come back as a unit. It's not only helped me with parenting skills, it also helped me with my career skills when we have a dilemma in the office. It's helped me with me being sociable with my friends outside of work. It's also helped me with socialization with colleagues, board. It's helped me just be an all-around person that I thought the skills that I have. So when I'm recruiting coaches, I'm really recruiting like, listen, this program is not going to only help the girl and her family, it's going to help you all one and the same. Every week you read through the lesson, but when I get there and the girls bring their perspective, I'm like, wow. And I have even caught myself in the middle of coaching and be like, well, I had something planned for y'all, but this is what we're about to do. We're going to change this all up, because it just brings everybody's perspective in a different light. That's why I love us as human beings. We are all different, but unique in one way.
Yeah, and getting those kids' perspectives, oh, it can be so magical sometimes.
Oh
The
my
things
goodness.
they say, and it's
Yes. And you
amazing.
know what? It really brings, I call it mini reunions in my head. It really brings back like, God, how did I forget about that? I remember that when I was younger, you know? I remember thinking like that when I was younger.
Aiesha's passion for teaching and impacting lives in the community she serves is so clear. She certainly has a gift. From our conversation, we left with these 3 takeaways. Number 1, after hearing Aiesha's story of her deeply rooted interest in teaching since she was a young girl, and then listening to how she found her way to Girls on the Run, her path seems so clear. But that's coming from someone on the outside looking in and looking at it in retrospect. It's often more difficult when we are actually the one doing the living and not the observing. What's the saying? Hindsight is 2020, right? Aiesha began working with children, which progressed to working with families, which then led to working with entire communities. Throughout the progression to her current role at Girls on the Run, she mentioned that her eyes were opened to the fact that there are so many ways to push a mission that you believe in. In Aiesha's case, it's teaching, and in her words, spreading awareness to people that don't want to listen, and also to people that do want to listen. Number 2, the Girls on the Run programs focus on using research-based programs to teach critical life skills. Participants are on small teams and are coached by trained volunteers who use the curriculum to inspire girls of all abilities. Girls strengthen their confidence and learn important life skills through dynamic, interactive lessons and physical activity. Aiesha shared 2 instances where she witnessed the benefits of the program firsthand. One was her time at the Boys and Girls Club, where the children made an effort to participate in the program and an effort to stay accountable. This was different from other programs that were brought into the organization. The second example was the mom who approached Aiesha at the end of the 5K, who is also very emotional and shared how the program not only impacted her daughter, but impacted their relationship and therefore impacted their family dynamics as a whole. Number 3, when we asked Aiesha whether Girls on the Run changed how she approaches parenting her own children, or perhaps how she approaches challenges in her own life, she said, absolutely. She mentioned how easy it is for parents to slip into a been there, done that mentality with their children, meaning that we may unknowingly minimize our children's experiences because we have been desensitized after already experiencing it ourselves. Or perhaps as adults, we forget what it was like to go through a challenge. Aiesha referred to this as having, quote unquote, mini reunions with ourselves. It's a situation that triggers us to remember something from our youth and provides us with the ability to have more empathy towards our children.
High five, friend. We've enjoyed hanging out with you. Follow us so you're the first to know when we drop a new episode.
If you've enjoyed your time with us, let us know by leaving a review. We always love hearing from you. Until next time, stay true to you.